Hey, I am a French Erasmus student, and this girl entering the room is
Hey!
my housemate.
Hey! How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. What about you?
Fine. But, what are you doing?
I just had criminal law 2 hours ago, and the teacher talked about a case, like he said it was important for, the exams. And as usual, I didn't get anything. So I'm just, searching.
But, what's the case?
It's called Dudley and Stephens.
I don't know, it's a famous case?
Yeah, I think so, yeah, quite a famous one.
So maybe there is a video about it.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Maybe I'm just gonna check on YouTube to see whether there's something. Oh, look! There's the video! The Crown versus Dudley and Stephens concerns 4 men cast away in a storm on the high seas in 1884. They had no supply of water and no supply of food except for 2 tins of turnips. On the 18th day, having been 7 days without food, Thomas Dudley, the captain, proposed to Stephens and Brooks that lots should be drawn to determine who should be put to death to save the lives of the others. Brooks refused to consent to this. The next day, no vessel had appeared to rescue the men. Dudley and Stephens made an agreement to kill the youngest and weakest member of the crew, Parker, the cabin boy. The following day, Dudley offered a prayer and then put a knife into the throat of Parker, killing him. The 3 men fed upon Parker's body and blood for 4 days, at which point they were rescued by a passing vessel. On their return to land in England, Dudley and Stephens were charged with murder. At their trial, Judge Baron Huddleston returned a special verdict, whereby, on the basis of the jury's findings, the case was to be argued before a court consisting of 5 judges to decide whether the facts gave rise to murder or not. The main issue triggered by this case related to the defense of necessity, the question being whether such a defense could apply, knowing that, firstly, if the men had not fed upon the body, they would have probably died. Secondly, the boy who was in a weaker condition was likely to die before the others. And thirdly, there was no prospect of being rescued when the murder was committed. Collins, acting as counsel for Dudley and Stephens, argued that it was justifiable to commit murder in order to save one's own life, and that this was known as the defense of homicide by necessity. In his judgment, Lord Coleridge found that there was no real certainty as to whether a vessel would show up in the days following the killing, and as a consequence, Parker's death would have been profitless and unnecessary. The court referenced the connection between necessity and self-defense, but distinguished the concepts on the basis that self-defense requires the presence of a physical danger, and this was not the case with Parker, who represented no threat to Dudley and Stephens. The court stated that the deliberate killing of the boy was clearly murder and that no circumstances could justify such killing. Lord Coleridge elaborated on the relationship between law and morality, and on the fact that there was no more necessity to kill the weakest than to kill the others. Where such circumstances arise, the court held that it is the duty of all to die. Finally, the court emphasized the dangers of permitting such a justification even in such extreme circumstances as the case at hand. Though Lord Coleridge recognized that the 3 men found themselves in exceptional circumstances that could have led any person to act in the same way, that did not justify the principle of sacrificing someone for the others to live. There was a lot of public sympathy for Dudley and Stephens during and after the trial. Dudley and Stephens' sentence of the death penalty was commuted to 6 months' imprisonment by the Crown on the advice of the Home Secretary William Harcourt. The case of Dudley and Stephens is still controversial to this day. In a recent case, the court distinguished its decision from Dudley and Stephens in a judgment by Lord Justice Brooke. The case involved conjoined twins, one of whom was stronger than the other. If they remained joined, there was a strong chance that they would both die. If separated, one would die while it was likely the other would remain alive. Lord Justice Brooke held that the defense of necessity could apply in this instance. There was indeed no problem of selection, as the second twin was weaker and would die in every circumstance. Outside of the courtroom, the Dudley and Stephens case has proven influential in provoking debate across a broad range of subjects. In ethics, for instance, it might be used to discuss the idea of duty versus outcome. In philosophy, it can be used to discuss utilitarianism and the relationship between law and morality. The case of the spoon-chin explorers, which is heavily based on Dudley and Stephens, was developed by Harvard legal theorist Lon Fuller to illustrate diversions between law and morality. The Dudley and Stephens case has also had a significant cultural impact. The novel Life of Pi, the Bengal tiger, was named Richard Parker in reference to the murdered cabin boy, amongst other reasons.
Well, you were right to tell me to go on YouTube.
Yeah, I hope it will help you. Well, I have to go. See you.
See you!